How to find the best micro, small, tiny cryptos that are going to outperform the rest of the market once we move away from Bitcoin season into altcoin season, likely by Christmas of this year. Right now is the time to be researching the utility behind these smaller cryptos that are going to catch that explosive gain once the market picks up. We are yet to see the market cap of these small cryptos catch up with the actual utility they're providing to the blockchain space. Once Bitcoin season is over and Ethereum starts to rally, then we're going to inch closer to these smaller, lower cap cryptos to finally have their explosive gains. And in this video, I'm giving you my top 5 picks backed up with utility and reasoning as to why I'm buying them. Bearing in mind, a lot of these small cryptos can do exactly what Luna did with a huge rug pull. That's why it's super important to actually figure out the utility and use case behind these cryptos to prevent that as much as possible. Once Bitcoin has broken this 5-year overhead resistance above $112,000, we are going to see an explosive rally in the crypto market. Positioning yourself now and doing the research now is crucial to get ahead of the curve. You can gain access to my Bitcoin trades and also altcoin scalps by signing up with BITUNIX in the description below and joining my free Discord server, guys. There will be no paid promotions in this video, just purely my own research and the low cap gems that I'm generally buying into right now. With that being said, slap a like on the video and let's go make some money, guys. I know you guys are eager to see my top 5 picks and do a deep dive into why these are my top 5 micro cap cryptos, but let's just take a quick look at the overall crypto market and see what's going on before we do that. As I mentioned at the start of the video, Bitcoin is waiting to break above that multi 5-year resistance line, which if broken above $112,000 is going to boast very good potential for Bitcoin in the short to medium term, with the previous multi-year overhead resistance being tested 4 times now turned from resistance into support very nicely. Bitcoin is looking very strong as it's now holding around $104,000. I'll keep going back to this path to alt season chart. As you can see, the next stage after the Bitcoin season, which I keep mentioning as you guys can clearly see that we are currently in, is of course Ethereum season. Ethereum right now is showing a very nice wick off accumulation phase. As you can see by Crypto Caesar over on Twitter, Ethereum is in a wick off reaccumulation. You can see that we're matching this TA very nicely with the first pump to resistance, followed by the second pump, and then phase B. We didn't quite get above that overhead resistance, but we definitely flushed out that liquidity to the downside, and now we're making our way back up for Ethereum. And then Ash Crypto coming in with the absolute gold tier TA, showing this that obviously Ethereum is about to pump right now. Jokes aside, there's some serious catalysts for Ethereum at the moment, which is something we've been waiting for a long time. Catalyst number 1 to do with Ethereum staking. BlackRock is indeed pushing for the staking ETH ETF approval as soon as possible, and when this gets approved, it unlocks 4 to 5% yields for ETH investors, which is absolutely huge for the traditional market. That would of course mean billions flowing into ETH in passive income for these institutional investors. The second catalyst, a huge Nasdaq listed company, SharpLink Gaming, is raising $1 billion specifically just to buy Ethereum at the moment. They are basically considered the micro strategy for Ethereum, which if true would be absolutely huge news for ETH. And the Ethereum founder Vitalik recently said that he's looking to scale Ethereum this year and over the coming next year as well, which quite simply more speed equals more activity, and then of course more demand for ETH the token. Ethereum really is setting up quietly for a huge move in the short term, which would then move us into phase 3 and phase 4 of alt season, which of course would mean everyone buying and researching into micro caps and of course other cap cryptos right now, building their conviction and faith in these coins and their portfolio, are going to reap the rewards. The total market cap value for all altcoins right now is painting a very bullish cup and handle chart, which if true would mean a breakout is looming on the horizon, which would align very nicely with Ethereum boasting its potential huge gains soon. In other news, altcoins have taken an absolute beating in the last week. You can see Fartcoin down 30%, other coins like Bonk down 22%, Virtual's Protocol, one of the top performing coins so far of this year, is down 25% this week alone. And you can see overall the crypto altcoin market has been battered this week. Even in the last day as well, Fartcoin has taken a 15% nosedive alongside the rest of the market generally down about 5 to 10%. But guys, I think this just necessarily momentary volatility as we're approaching alt season, we tend to see altcoins really have severe pullbacks that are then met with new highs, shaking out people with less conviction and offering up opportunities for people to dollar cost average like me and you as we're diving deep into these cryptos and finding the utility, building up our conviction. We know the money is made when you dollar cost average sensibly with obviously good risk management on these dips. And the most important chart right now for Bitcoin and crypto, I think, is the M2 money supply, which you've probably seen before. Bitcoin at around $104,000 is clearly just following this liquidity injection, mostly from China and America printing money, and predicts it in the next couple of months, probably by the end of summer / Q3 or maybe at latest Q4, Bitcoin is probably going to see 140k. And the funding rate heat map shows us that last year around November, December, when Bitcoin was where it currently is now, just rallying from 60k up to 110k, there was a lot of leveraged long positions in the market, which we do not see right now, which paints a very good sign because the market makers, believe it or not, they don't want you to have nice leveraged positions open when Bitcoin is making new highs. And of course, the Bitcoin liquidation heat map is showing us most liquidity and liquidation levels lie at the all-time high level, just above there, about $113,000, which shows me we're likely going to see that push for a new all-time high instead of dropping below 100k. And we saw the best part of the whole month, last month of May, of pretty much just positive inflows for the Bitcoin ETF, aside from maybe 3 red days of outflows. In the last week, we did see back-to-back outflows, but now we're seeing some positive inflows, which is very good news. And one of the biggest cryptos, one of my biggest bags, not a micro cap by any means, is SUI, with 21 shares filing for the ETF, which is kicking off the SEC review, which I'm looking forward to see what happens. And in other news, some big controversy at the moment, Pump.fun is chasing for a $4 billion valuation, igniting fury amongst the community in crypto and specifically meme coins. Pump.fun is reportedly preparing for a private and public token sale. Many are speculating this is just an opportunity for them to cash in because they noticed their volume has dropped and they were doing about 15 million a day in revenue and it's gone down to about 100 to 500k a day, which is a huge drop off. So maybe they're feeling that big drop in revenue and then looking to cash in on a token pre-sale. This is not good news for Solana and is likely why we've seen the likes of Altcoin, which is built on Solana network, taking a nosedive in the last week, around 30%, alongside some other ones as well. Let's dive into these low cap cryptos, guys, and let's see the utility and why these are my top 5 picks. Let's do it. The first low cap gem is none other than MCADE, also known as MetaCade, at 26.1 million market cap with 1.5 million volume in the last 24 hours. One thing that looks very good for MetaCade, which I have actually not seen too much in these low cap gems, we are seeing consistent whale accumulation. Just look at that volume down there. It's been very consistent, even from the highs near Christmas of last year and January of this year, when we see all the altcoins had a huge rally. We're seeing a very similar level of volume and accumulation for MetaCade. But I need to reiterate the risk with these low cap gems. These videos are not financial advice, and you're probably going to lose all your money investing into such risky cryptos like this. But we know we're degenerates on this side of crypto, and we're looking to really build out our low cap gem portfolio, maybe 5-10% of your overall portfolio. Taking risk into these low cap gems could reap the reward significantly if some of these catch on for their use cases, like MetaCade being a crypto gaming gem. One of the strong narratives in the last cycle was play to earn games, basically allowing the crypto community, especially in like third world countries, to play games and earn tokens. Especially in a bull market, this is very lucrative. We saw the likes of Axie Infinity, one of the biggest games in the last cycle of 2021, places in like Thailand and Vietnam and other poorer economic countries, they were absolutely raking it in for people just playing games, which is very cool. So MetaCade is built on Base, and for those of you that don't know, that's just a different layer on top of Ethereum. MetaCade is redefining what is possible with voice-enabled AI technology, empowering creators to thrive on-chain, from newcomers to industry leaders. You can see they're partnering with SPEC, which we featured in one of my last videos, Superverse as well, which is one of my other videos as well, slightly larger cap cryptos, and they've got some good partners and collaborations with such a small crypto. I have to say the website looks very good, and overall their presence, especially on social media, is very, very good. I'm going to drop them a follow. They have 62,000 followers with some really nice organic engagement on their tweets, consistently tweeting and engaging with their community. The esports space out in the real world, outside of the blockchain in crypto, is an absolutely huge industry that's been growing rapidly over the last sort of 5 to 10 years. And I think we're going to continue to see that. I mean, some of these games like Dota, League of Legends, their cash pool prizes for these esports tournaments are absolutely insane. And I imagine in the next 5 to 10 years, we're really going to see the gaming blockchain space take over esports completely. With 78,000 holders, which is absolutely crazy for a crypto with only 26 million market cap, I think this has the potential to be a leader in the blockchain gaming space and really aim to revolutionize where we see esports in terms of its positioning on the blockchain. They're really focusing on giving real-world rewards, creating an engaging and competitive environment for gamers, which is something that really ties into esports very well. Some of these esports companies and brands like FaZe and other big names as well, they are worth absolutely millions. The next low-cap crypto going into my portfolio, guys, is Graphlinq Chain, also known as GLQ, currently sat at an 8.5 million market cap, 300k volume in the last 24 hours. You can see in the last day it had a nice little pump of around 5%, and in the last week it is dropped also around about 5-10%, so making for a nice opportunity to enter. And GLQ allows developers to build dApps on the blockchain with no code. Create dApps, launch your own coins, build bots, and design AI agents. It's nice to see they're also playing into the AI agent narrative, which follows the suit as we're seeing in crypto right now, blowing up amongst the different sectors. They already have a working terminal and application for, as mentioned, building these dApps with no code and monitoring the progress and cross-chain transactions. It's nice to see that they already have a working application, which is something that I really look towards for these low-cap cryptos, because guys, in the last cycle and the previous 2 cycles, there were literally coins with multi-billion-dollar market cap, just with loads of promises, never actually delivering anything and no working application. And here we go with an 8.5 million market cap that's down 75% purely in the last year, just because of how much alts have been struggling. You can imagine the potential that this has. It's really not had a significant pump that's been sustained since it's launched, and we saw the initial investors selling off, which typically happens in crypto. You know, once a coin launches, we do see those early investors taper off and sell their bag. Then we get a pump, but that was not sustained purely just because of the state of actual altcoins at the moment. But overall, I think no code development using AI on the blockchain is a very strong narrative, and that's why I've been accumulating this crypto, guys. But as with anything, I keep having to say this, an 8.5 million market cap crypto can rug pull like Luna and go to zero, so only invest what you can afford to lose, of course, but you guys know the risk. The next low cap gem is SERV, SERV, currently at 31 million market cap, down around 6% in the last month. You can see with just shy of 200k 24-hour volume. And this crypto allows AI agents to be built and also interact seamlessly across different chains and networks to function across different niches, which is absolutely crazy for a crypto with such a low market cap. AI agents is one of the hottest narratives in crypto at the moment, and we're going to see that follow suit as we transition into altcoin season. You can see a big disparity between their appearance and overall brand development and what they're offering, and their such low market cap of $30 million. Plug any agent, any framework, and any chain into their OpenServe network, shipping your dApp today, and they already have a working platform. You can see you can build your own AI agents. You can also browse a marketplace of other pre-built AI agents in different niches. You can see lifestyle, personal assistance, financial modeling, productivity and task management, plus research and analysis, which could be very, very good for companies and employees to efficiently streamline their work processes. Personally, I really like their branding. They've got some good social media presence. Again, nice organic engagement, around 12,000 followers, and you can see they're shipping new updates and keeping people up to date literally every single day. It's nice to see there wasn't much of the pre-sale investors selling after this token was launched close to Christmas of last year. It did have a rally of around 10x gain. It then pulled back and made this pretty nice overhead trend line that you guys can see, and we're inching back towards that initial token offering price. You can see the the volume down here has been steadily increasing, with whales clearly accumulating and almost coming back to the volume that we saw when it did that 10x gain, which is boasting very, very good for this crypto. And I have to say, this is one of my top low cap gems of the moment right now that I've been accumulating and this whole video, guys. The next low cap gem is XMW, also known as Morphware, currently sat at a $50 million market cap with just under a million 24-hour volume. Similar story to what we saw on SERV. This crypto had a nice rally from its initial opening as a crypto close to Christmas of last year. You can see it had around a nice 10x gain to the upside, and that volume lately has been steadily increasing, showing some whales and people in general in the community have been continuing to accumulate this despite the fact that altcoins have been somewhat struggling in general. Morphware is really playing into the future-proof narrative of trying to find sustainable ways to get GPU energy to power things like AI and Web3 technologies without impacting on the actual environment too much, because we're seeing things like Meta building unsustainably, basically buying up land and just propping up huge farms, which is destroying actual land space and trees and environments that we're seeing many animals being affected. Morphware plans to use hydroelectric energy to actually build sustainable and cost-effective compute solutions powered by the NVIDIA DGX B200 and backed by a proprietary token ecosystem. Comparing their cost-effective pricing for the latest LLMs, including Llama, DeepSeek, and Qwen, tailored for enterprises mostly. Essentially finding ways to power AI agents sustainably without impacting on the economy too much. Some really nice organic engagement on their social media as well. Powered by green energy, our mining operations set the gold standard: efficient, scalable, and sustainable. Every token mining contributes to a cleaner and more profitable future. So this is a crypto, in my opinion, that if you were to start accumulating now, you could really hold this for the next 5, 10, 15 years and see if it can catch on as a genuine sustainable way to power AI and AI agents and general computing solutions, because you guys can imagine the amount of power that's going to be needed over the next decade to meet the needs of government and these big tech companies across the world without destroying the actual ecosystems. And the last low cap crypto, guys, is none other than Spectral, SPEC. You can see a $13 million market cap, just under 9 million 24-hour volume, which is very nice indeed. You can see there was some heavy selling from its initial pump after the tokens were sold. You can see that it then did a rough about 5x gain and made some brutal new lows. So of course, guys, you need to be sensible here when you see such a downturn like this. You need to be sensible. Only invest what you can afford to lose, and definitely employ a nice risk management, cost-effective dollar cost average strategy, because whilst there might be some very good bull cases for this crypto, the chart does look a little bit questionable. But sometimes with these low cap gems, it is very difficult to find which ones are going to perform well. Now, Spectral is essentially using AI and machine learning to use everyday normal language like I'm talking right now and turn it into Solidity code that can be used on the blockchain. Intelligent agents for everyone. Build your on-chain empire with your swarm of personal AI agents. You can see very similar to Virtual's protocol, it's somewhat like a marketplace to actually invest and trade into some various AI agents. You can see one of their projects was run by a swarm of AI agents led by Agent Spectra, building the first fully autonomous AI hedge fund, which is open for deposits on Hyperliquid. I think you guys can imagine the absolute power of this if it was going to get some traction in the upcoming cycle. Imagine using everyday English language to build a swarm of AI agents that can go and make a hedge fund. That is crazy. Humans aren't wired for 24/7 crypto, sleep, emotions, and decision fatigue, which is essentially one of those big bull cases as to why AI agents could catch on really big time in the upcoming cycle, because generally humans can only do so much. We only have so much computing cognitive power before we actually can burn out. Even recording videos like this, maybe I've got a few hours where I can research and talk to a camera before my brain is absolutely fried. But that's a wrap for this video, guys. I hope you found it useful. Of course, as I keep saying, there's no paid promotions in this video. This is just the altcoins and low cap gems I'm researching into ahead of the upcoming altcoin season. And whichever cryptos you invest into, I wish you the best of luck. But of course, these videos are not financial advice and you can lose all your money, guys. But with that being said, I'll see you in the upcoming video. Peace out.